Thanks for staying with us. So everybody's been talking about Dowen College in the last couple of weeks. And met the father, the sister of the young boy, Sylvester, have been on various interviews. We've heard from the, even a spokesperson from the school recently spoke to a different TV station. And we've heard the news. I mean, so the different debates here and there. And the key question everybody's asking is, should Dowen open or not open? And people have brought out different arguments for and against. And on the show today, we'll be having a bit later the father again. We'll have one of the pathologists that worked on the case. We're going to have the same spokesperson to speak to us and tell us the various angles and try to get better clarity. Because the issue is not so much of the investigation, which is ongoing, but the critical issue Nigerians are talking about is the remaining 400+ children who are affected by the closure of Dowen College. Where do we go from here? Should they open or not open? And that's the conversation I'd like to, we'll be bringing in our guest a bit later, but first I'd like us to talk about it. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76-948. You can also send us messages on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. So, as I said, we're going to be discussing with the various stakeholders a bit later, but what are your own initial thoughts on this? Because, as I said, there are different arguments. Some have said, listen, in all these in Western countries, a young boy carries a gun, enters a school, shoots like 20 people, you know, and then maybe the school is closed down for a few weeks while the investigation is ongoing, and then eventually they reopen, you know, or the fact that some are saying, oh, that's a different case. It's not the same. But some will argue that there's an issue of negligence. So somebody, a parent of a child who goes to school, who is a normal, innocent child, and has no issues with the violence that happened, would say, why did you not put a metal detector so that a child would not bring in a gun to shoot? So that's an issue of negligence on the part of the parents, of the teachers, of the school. The same in this case also. Bullying was not properly addressed, where it probably escalated to this point where this young boy was killed. So we can argue negligence on different sides. But should the school reopen? I mean, that's the key question. And I don't know, Tope, you want to start?
Hey. So I've argued this on several occasions with other people. And I'm of the opinion that if it was bullying that did not lead to death, we could even say, okay, let's investigate all the things that happened, and then the school reopened. A school is a commercial center that provides learning, and also they have custody of the children. My opinion as a parent is that the school should not reopen at this point in time. I feel that the school should have at least a year minimum, because I believe within that 1 year period, all the necessary changes, retraining of staff, putting in CCTV camera where it should be, rejigging the internal system to do what we had a guest that came a few weeks back that said that there must be a process within every school that ensures protection, a child protection process that must be on ground. That process needs to be implemented. We can't just say because of other children, business will just continue as usual, because those children could, those other children could be the ones that would have been suffered by, that would have died from the negligence in the school management child protection system. If that process was there, we probably wouldn't have lost this boy. He probably would have been beaten, but they would have caught the bullies. But we've heard stories that these bullies, this group of bullies, do it over and over again to other children, and then finally led to the death of one. That school needs to be shut down, minimum of 1 year. When they now put a structure into place, then we can now say we have certified them to be free to open again. But not
in
that
this case, Nimara, where the school is still standing by their argument that this boy was injured by football, that yes, there might be bullying in the past, but in this case particularly, it wasn't a case of bullying. So the school is standing by that. But government said, shut it down while investigation is ongoing. So do they have a case as a school to say, listen, we have scientific evidence saying that this boy probably didn't die from what was alleged. Can we open?
Okay, so I'm not with the school on this. I just feel that the school is trying to cover up its tracks, my personal opinion. And And for me, I feel that for bullying to get to the point, that bullying to get to the point that it's gotten is because it's rife in that school. Probably they have a group of students who are going around terrorizing students. And we know most children do not speak up for the fear of repercussions. The same seniors would come for you. Maybe some teachers are sort of collaborating or in collusion with the students. So there are a lot of things that it will take time for you to find the root. What we may do for the sake of all the innocent kids who are not part of this, who need to write exams, JAM is coming and things like that, parents have paid money. I would say that the Lagos State government will step in such a way that the management will be overtaken by government state. The Lagos State government should set up a school board run by people that Lagos State have picked. Teachers should be taken out and changed, put new teachers there, and then the child protection procedure that needs to be put in place should be put in place, and that place should be monitored while investigations are going on. So the real owners of the school need to be suspended, and all those on the board and they need to be suspended until the investigation has been properly done. Because I think that there's a big lesson that needs to be learned from this. One is that there's sometimes we look at bullying and take our eyes away. There's sometimes we open schools and just put children in a huge hall and we think we're done. People need to understand that when you open a school, it's a huge responsibility. Many people are quick to want to open schools now. Exactly. It's not just a money-making business. You are holding human lives, developing lives. You need to be careful how you take care of them. You don't just have a hostel and have children. You just throw in there and ring the bell, come down for breakfast, ring the bell, go and change your uniform. No, you have to check them. Some of the schools, because we are looking at schools, and I noticed a few of the schools that we've talked to, they have a different arrangement than the one we used to have for boarding schools, where they have foster parents. It's a much smaller boarding community, so different little houses. So you're able to, even as a parent, know who to speak to, know who your children are in constant proximity to at different times. So those things need to be put in place before this school can be reopened or given back to the original
that's a
management.
fantastic point, because there are people out there like demanding that you should shut it down. I mean, the Joy Youths came the other day to protest, and there's a lot of emotions flying around. It's easy, and sometimes when you have so much emotions, you totally fail to look at the reality on ground. So the point is, what do you think, YK? I mean, these various groups are saying, close it down. We don't until justice is served, we want this school totally shut down. I mean, is that the right approach at this time?
I really, because it's only when it affects you directly that you can look at it. That now I'm looking at it dispassionately, and I'm thinking, okay, what about the kids that are in the school? So I want to, because I've listened to Miriam and Tokwe's, and you have young kids. I mean, if it happened to me, I would probably be fighting against the school opening. I will probably be fighting that the school must never open again. Do you understand? So I don't want to say anything. What if they remove the boarding house? What do you think?
Yes.
So that's another option, where we close down the boarding house and then leave it to be a day school for us. Because
then what then happens to the children that are coming from out of town?
Exactly. So there's still always going to be collateral damage, whichever way we look at it. Whenever I drive past the Ikoyi toll gate or Lekki toll gate, the business part of me would look at it that, wow, this is a business. People invested. You're calculating 1 year of not earning money. This is a huge loss that no business forecast could have imagined. Then the humane part of me, the me that knew what happened after EndSARS, that experienced it, knew how people were, the stories that got left, right, center, would look at it that, well, this is the result. This is the reaction to the reality of what happened during the EndSARS protest. So sometimes some businesses will take the hits. It's collateral damage. Some people would lose their jobs. Many staff of the toll gates, LCC, have lost their job. They can't earn because they're not collecting money. Those are collateral damage. But the bigger picture is, are we doing things to ensure we never find ourselves in this place again?
You see, it's easy to say collateral damage when your child is not involved. When your child is not part of the collateral damage, it's always easier. Because I'm thinking of the parents right now who is saying, I have a year 6 or a year 5 who's about to write an exam, and because of this incident, the school has been closed.
Somebody died. It's not incidental.
No, I'm putting yourself in the shoes of the parents whose child wants to graduate from the school. Yes. Where do they start from? That's really the conversation. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back,
I have a question to ask.
And I'd like you to ask it after the break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing to open or not to open. That's Dowen College. Mikey, you had a question.
Yes, my question is very serious in that, because I've been listening to talk about collateral damage, it's a business. Should schools really be businesses? Because is it not disturbing the quality of education that our children are getting? Why I say this, when I was growing up, like your own school, Corona was owned by a board. It's not an individual. So what is happening now is that all these schools are owned by individuals and they are making serious money. And now they are being affected because their income, not the children.
Yes.
Their concern is not really the children. It is the money that they are making. So should we stop schools from being money-making ventures?
But why, Kay? These are also, when they say business, it's not about me making the profit. It's about me paying a teacher to raise our own family.
It's like a social enterprise.
The families of the cleaners, the teachers, the drivers, they are all, it's a whole economic system within that school. It's not just me making profit.
Owned by a board.
Yes.
A board of various,
different people.
The teachers will still exist. The teachers will still earn money. The cleaners will still earn money. Now, I remember when during the COVID lockdown, the schools were struggling to earn because we were losing money. Doing online did not pay them. The Lagos State schools, we were managing our online, go to the radio, because they were managing and they were paying their teachers because it's a government-owned thing. But the private ones were the ones saying, COVID or no COVID, we must open.
We'll pay school fees. So for me,
and when you think of what their school fees, what they collect as school fees,
yes,
huge,
you need to see
humongous amounts of money.
The quality education anyway is not cheap.
yes,
we understand that, but one of
that's not true.
Quality education anyway is not cheap.
Even in the UK,
everywhere it's expensive. You pay through your nose.
But the public schools are just as good as the private schools.
Yes.
In fact,
but somebody is paying taxes for that. So you're taking money from me. So somebody is still paying for it. Yeah, so it's not free. Yes, the schools are free, but the people you try to do that in Nigeria, and they'll tell you that they'll carry placard. And also carry placard. Okay, let's not even go there.
Yes,
it's a different kind of worms.
Yes,
it's a different kind of worms. But let's go back to the issue of the school. Talk with me.
Yes,
Mary, we're going to say
I was just going to say, sometimes these really expensive schools, they take this large amounts of money from parents, and it does not reflect on the teachers that they employ.
Exactly.
So when you hear sometimes some of the salaries that they are being paid, and you have these teachers who are supposed to be in this really rich school with rich kids, giving rich resources.
For the car.
And yes, a teacher can't do that. Whether we like it or not, there's this sort of resentment. And so sometimes the teachers in these situations may turn their faces away from things that they may see brewing. We've heard of some schools that they say, oh, the children in this school, they are so rude to teachers. Are we looking at why the teachers feel that way beyond, no, just let the children be, let them be, be expressive? So those are the things I would like for Lagos State government, the education ministry, to look in Dowen College. The welfare of the teachers, one. Two, to what extent is this bullying? To what extent is there parents and children, sort of involved in it? I mentioned this because there was a video that came out where it would look like a Zoom meeting of parents and some old teachers of this particular Dowen College. I don't know if it was true, but it came out, and a teacher was saying, I used to teach there, and I saw some things that I brought up, and I was sort of reprimanded for bringing it up. I noticed some children were doing things that were not right. I brought it up or reprimanded a student for it, and the school asked me to apologize. So we need to also find out if teachers, we need to find out if teachers had noticed things and they are turning their faces away.
So that is the case. The case, as I said, is being investigated, and they've called on January 15. The Lagos State coroner has called where everybody bringing their positions. Well, our focus today really is, should that school open? And I think I'd like to take this call and I come to talk with you. Good morning. Are you there? Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead. You're live.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, for me, I think the school should not open yet Because this is not just an ordinary disaster. It's something that could have been averted if the school authority were attentive and if they were up and doing. You know, these days, I think most of the fault is from the parents. These days, parents don't want any other person to chastise their children from them. I send my children to schools that are not very expensive, and we face the same problem there, that some children are untouchable because of their parents. And at the end of the day, because schools don't want to lose their students, and even teachers know the students they caution and the ones they don't caution, which I feel is the major problem we are facing in schools now. I personally, I will go to my children's school and tell them I beat them at home. So even if you will not beat them, if it is a government policy, even in public school, they don't beat children, but you correct them. If it is something that I need to know about, let me know about it. You understand? Right. So for Dowen College, whether the school denies what happened or whether it is not what happened, it is something that could have been averted. You can't keep a child in your school. And even if the child was playing ball and got injured, it should have, even their sport should have been under supervision. So I feel it should still be under law so that...
All right. Thank you very much, Temitayo. So as I said before, there's an argument that when these kind of things happen all over the world, do they lock down the school, like, completely? Forever. Perpetually locked down?
You know that.
So in that situation, the child, the parents of the child who is innocent, who feels like, yes, this has happened, but my child needs to go to school. In those economies or in those countries, when you say collateral damage, yes, I as the child, the parent or the victim, I feel that I am being victimized by you reopening that school. I absolutely feel like you're unfair. But the truth is that these schools do reopen.
I think that we should deal with Nigeria. So we have a system that does not trust. We don't trust the system would give us justice. We have a slow justice system that seems to favor the powerful and the influential and does not favor those that might be innocent and not as powerful. So you can't compare with an America where you know that regardless of what happened, very likely that justice will be served. Everybody involved will get what is due to them. So here, we're used to jungle justice. Check, if it wasn't Lagos State, if that school was not on the island, they would have burnt that school down in some states. The moment that thing happened, people have gone there and done it because that's the only
Let me pause you for a second. Let me pause you for a second. So let us stay on that. So
that is wrong.
No, it's not wrong. It's right. No. You are saying that we're in Nigeria.
No, I'm saying that for us to prevent jungle justice, for us to prevent people taking laws into their hand, we must ensure that justice is served. If there's no justice, people will feel like I'm unfairly treated. I will do what I want to do. So somebody's child died. Even all those children in the same class as that boy need to go through serious
Let's define justice. I hear you. You are very correct. We're in Nigeria. Jungle justice. If it was somewhere else, they would have burned down the school. As you said, it doesn't make it right. But now the children, but the children who are enrolled in that school. Remember, there's 400+ children here. These are kids. These are not adults. Children that need to go to school. And other schools we say, let us redistribute them. Other schools are saying, my school is only 30 per class or 50 per class. If we redistribute, you as a parent of the child in the other school say, please don't bring anybody to my children's class.
Solution.
Oh, yes. That stands. I hear that. That's a fantastic solution. But the point is that I wanted us to clarify. There's jungle justice. But while justice is being served, which we know that justice is being served, those are we treating the other children unjustly by closing their school and not having lights open?
Let me tell you, Morayo,
yes,
life happened to them.
Life was lost.
Yes.
That is where there is a big question mark. If the boy had survived, we will not be, the school will not even be closed.
It was lost a different way.
You must, look, for instance, God forbid, you lose somebody in a business, in any business. Normally, they will close that office down.
Yes.
The office will close down in respect of the dead.
He did.
So now this was, they say, okay, in respect of this boy that was allegedly beaten,
yes,
let's close the school down. Even the school board should be saying yes.
Exactly.
Let's remain closed.
Now we need to talk about that.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you
don't plan
for things.
Hassan has been calling.
Life would happen.
Hassan has been holding for a second. Let me call Hassan. Hassan, are you there?
Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, let us bear one thing at the back of our mind. somebody's son died. Somebody's son died as a result of bullying. And we are busy playing politics with it. We lack empathy. And even the sympathy we pretend to demonstrate is just much more an eye service sympathy. State government should go into this private concern and read out Riot Act to them. This is not right. Because the boy that passed away is not our son, we decided to go for money rather than to go for humanity. And I have second thing to say, please, about the governor of Ondo State. In some instances, I supported him, but I can see him talking too much. And when you talk too much, the irrelevance will set in. He was the state governor that wanted to legitimize marijuana because of the money involved. Now you are talking about cows. Cows, these are the taste of the people. These are the business chain of the people. You don't just put figures like that. The people that sell cows here, they will buy some things here and take it back to somewhere.
Oh. Hello? Oh, we lost that call. You were saying something really interesting there. But there's an angle that we've not talked about. The road.
He spoke about the money. That
Yes.
most of these schools are money-making ventures.
Yes.
That is why the quality. That is why bullying will be allowed. Maybe the bullies are the sons of rich people who pay money into the school coffers, donate. So they are not ready to correct them.
All of those things are part of the child protection policy that should be in the school.
You know,
all schools.
All schools. So that parents are informed. PTA sessions, you let the parents know that you cannot bully a teacher in this school. Even no matter how powerful you are, your child can go. We can let your child go. We can sanction, if your behavior as a parent can mean your child will lose admission in this school.
If I was going to make an argument for them to close, if I was going to make an argument, I mean, you know, I've always said here before that Nigeria is not very totally, in my own personal view, that we're not totally ripe for democracy and all its demands. That I believe strongly that if we're going to use any template, we should use the template of the Western world in the 60s or 30s, how they used to get justice. So in this kind of situation, maybe in the 30s, maybe in the US, they might have shut it down. What's going on here? Shut down first. Everybody go home. In fact, all the kids find somewhere else to go because this is totally unusual. So the truth is that where we are as a country, going back to the jungle justice, the mentality that we might have here, we're not seeing things from the perspective of the West. Understood. But how, because Hassan reminded us again that it's about a boy who has died. And how do we ensure this boy gets justice? Is it by shutting down the school or by ensuring those boys responsible maybe responsible based on whatever the investigation show us, are brought to book? Now, another question Nigerians are yet to answer. What do we want exactly to happen to those boys, if indeed they are guilty?
And what if?
Have we really thought about it through?
And what if they are actually not guilty?
And what if they are innocent? What should therefore happen to them? So, because Nigerians, I mean, it's a really difficult conversation to have.
Okay, so let me try to, respond to that. You've talked about the fact that this is about a boy that died. For me, it's much more than that. It's about a boy that died, one. It's about the other boys who are being bullied. It's about the fact that bullying is going on in that school to the point that some children are bold enough to carry it out the way it was carried out. YK, give an example of if someone dies in an office, you close down in respect of that person. If it was a bloody murder that happened in that office, it would be shut down. Police will be everywhere. People will be locked up. Because, so that is it. It's not just the fact that he died. It was the way he died. And the fact, what even makes it more horrifying is that it's children that carried this out. So what kind of children do we have here? What have you been breeding? What sort of teachers do we have in that kind of school that we
What have
have
you been
children that
reading?
can do this sort of thing?
That's
So
right.
that is why I think it will take a while for that school to open. Now, when we compare it to the schools in America, oh, they open up in a few weeks, because America will do their investigations like this. Somebody shoots, we don't wait till 1 year before we hear the name of the boy, his DNA, his great-grandparents, everything, how he thought about it, what he did. They've done the investigation and quickly they put things in place. So it's not that they do not take time out for investigation, it's that they do it in a timely fashion. So here we had, okay,
Okay, let me go on the break, because I want to bring in our guests. We have so many guests. I mean, we have the father, we have the pathologist, and we have someone from the school. We'd like to hear their thoughts, because we haven't really sincerely and truthfully heard from the school. Aside from their initial press briefing saying that it was by the football, they've not really come out to say, because, I mean, I'd like to put ourselves even in their shoes. If you were the principal of that school, what would you do? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Let's go on the break. When we come back, we'll bring in our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.